Today we're going to make a little box style arrangement, and I just want to do a quick review for you as far as coloring the flowers goes. Super easy to dip dye your flowers in diluted paint and let them dry at least overnight, and then you'll be ready to stem those just the way that I am going to show. I'm going to use all natural flowers today, all ivory colored, which you're welcome to do, or go ahead and do some color in there as well. So just know that there will be some dry time involved. And this is just one technique as far as painting the wooden flowers goes, but it's the easiest. You'll just take some plastic containers. I typically put in about a 1/4 cup of water and somewhere between a 1/2 tablespoon to a tablespoon of paint. And that can be any type of paint, acrylic, latex, chalk type paint, whatever you have that you like the color of. And just know that if the color isn't strong enough for you, just add more paint. And if you'd like it lightened a little bit, just add a little bit more water to your mixture. So take a minute and make sure that it's incorporated really well. And then you're going to take your flour and just dip it in. I'm tilting the container, so I'm making a little bit of a deeper pool for my flowers to sit in. And I'm just rotating it around, making sure that the paint gets down between all the petals. And there you have it. So I would let this dry at least overnight on a paper towel or some cardboard or something that you might want to check on 1 or 2 times just to make sure that it's not, sticking as it dries. You might want to move it around. And then when it is fully dried, you're ready to craft. If you would want to add some two-tone colors, you could definitely water down another color of paint and go ahead and just maybe do the tips in a deeper tone or a lighter tone. If you do it when the flower is wet, it's going to give you kind of a watercolor effect. If you go ahead and let the flower dry, it'll be a little bit more defined when you come in with a second color. So go ahead and experiment and have fun when it comes to coloring your flowers. So for your little 4-inch box, we've got a piece of foam that you're just going to want to hot glue in. And it is totally up to you if you want to cover the foam with anything. I've used Spanish moss before. I have used, I'm going to use a little piece of burlap right here, but you can use tissue paper, scrapbook paper. And if your arrangement is super compact, like mine's going to be, you really do not need anything to cover the foam because it's going to be so full of flowers that you won't even see any of that down there. So I have used toothpicks to stem the flowers because this is a low compact arrangement. We don't need a long stem, and they work just perfectly. So I'll show you how I did that on this dry flower. Is just take a little dab of hot glue and then insert that toothpick, and then just give that, a few seconds to dry, and it is ready to go. When I put the flowers in, I don't hot glue them in. They don't need to be. They will hold there just fine, and that way you can move them around. If you don't like the placement, you can change it. So you've got some greenery here, and I just want to show you how this comes. I really like how there is a hole between the 3 stems. What I sometimes do is we'll take this toothpick and go right into that hole, and the greenery kind of hugs the flower, and you can kind of move it around, and you don't have to stem it individually that way. So I'll do this on a few of my flowers, and then I will probably cut one apart and have some little pieces that I am just gluing down. So I usually start with a bigger flower and then just work my way around. What you want to do is kind of angle your toothpick going in. based on the way you want your flower to face. So if we put them all straight up and down, we won't have any flowers facing the rim, which is how I like to do it. So I'm going to first angle this toothpick going down so that that flower rests on the box. So we've already got some greenery behind it. I'm going to choose a flower that kind of faces up, and I'm just going to go straight up behind that. And you don't have to push all the way down. Just give it the height that you want it to have. And then we're left with a little opening over here. So I would choose some of my smaller flowers to kind of fill in. And again, I can move that greenery and just tell it right where I want it to go. And I try to vary the flower styles and sizes as I'm working around so that there's a variety and we don't have all the same right next to each other. And when I'm feeling I need a little bit more greenery, I'll go ahead and pop that stem through that piece. And you can cut down your greenery as well. If it's too long for you, just take your scissors and give it a little snip. We'll just keep working around, keeping everything compact. I've used 9 flowers for this design. 3 of them are the bigger size. And now what I'm going to do is just go around and fill in any gaps by cutting this piece of greenery down or using little tips of pieces if you wanted to cut anything back from these. So you can keep it that full length or you can cut it a little bit shorter. I'm going to first bring in a piece right here with a little bit of hot glue. I like to have some coming straight out from the box too. So I'll just keep walking around the box and see if there's a little spot that needs filled in with a little piece of greenery. You can pop some right down in or along the edges, again, cutting them shorter if you need to. But basically that is it. It's a perfect size little giftable box that you can customize the colors or just leave them in the natural state.